All right, guys, how is everybody doing? I think it's fine. I was gonna turn down the light. Seems like I got this big white background, so gonna get started right at 11 o'clock Eastern time. So give it a second for people to start jumping on. When you jump on, just go ahead and announce yourself and say hi. So I know that you're on. Like I said, we're going to get started right at 11 o'clock Eastern time. So we can say hi to each other right now, and then we'll roll right into things. Hey, Carly. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Kathy. Great notes yesterday, Kathy. Hi, Annalisa, Jessica, Michelle. Hi, Mary. Kendra in West Virginia. How are you, Kendra? I'm reading a book about farming from a dude that lived in West Virginia. I wish I had it with me right now. Hey, Annalisa. All right, it's 11 o'clock, so we are going to get rolling right away. And today I want to talk about, we're going to dive into the nuts and bolts of what does the day-to-day look like for building a big business. And I'm gonna share what my day-to-day looked like, and especially what it looked like in the beginning. So I'm going to share that, but the overarching theme that I'm going to share today, we talked a little bit about this in with the leaders. We talked a little bit in a private group about what the day-to-day looks like, and everybody's is pretty much the same. Before we get into that, though, you have to sit through one of my stories, and this one, man, the story always gets me. So if you haven't listened to, or I shouldn't say if you haven't listened to, so we were talking the other day, and I think it was on the intro call. Amy was talking a little bit about meditation, and I'm a big meditator as well. And one of the podcasts I listen to, I like to listen to a lot of podcasts, is Tara Brach, Brach. So, anyways. This story is a story. So Tara's podcast is set up. It's done it with two different types of podcasts. Every other one is a guided meditation, and then every other one is a story. And so anyways, I'm driving down the road, and I've got my two of the four kids in the back of my truck, and this short story comes on the meditation podcast. And the story was told in the first person, so I'm gonna tell it just like I heard it. So the story is about a guy named Stephen, and Stephen's telling the story, and it starts like this. It starts that I was just starting out in a new school. So Stephen was a high school kid, a freshman in high school. And I was just starting out in a new school, and I was excited, but I was also nervous to start in this new school because it was for the last school I was in, I didn't really fit in. And I didn't really know how to fit into that school. So I was starting at this new school, and I messed up. All right, so Steven's starting at this new school. This other guy's telling the story in his first person. I haven't told the story in a while. So anyways, here's how it goes. I was walking down the hall. You know, it's a high school hall, and I'm walking down the hall, and this new guy is at our school, and he's at his locker, and you know, like a high school, right? It's got the lockers all on the sides, and he's at the locker, and he's he's just disheveled. Like he's got all of his books coming out of his locker, and like some of the books are falling on the ground, and he's like bending over and he's trying to pick them up, and he's just a mess, right? So when I walked and started getting closer to him, and as I started getting closer, I was going to just walk by him, and then for some reason I decided to I bent down and I picked up one of his books, and I was down on the ground. I picked up the book, and he was standing above me, and I handed the book up, and he's looking down at me, and I'd never seen anybody look at me like this before. It was just this sincere gratitude, and all I did was pick up a book. So anyways, I learned that his name was Steven. He was new to the school. We actually wound up walking home that day together. And we wound up walking home that day together, and we started to become friends. And he was kind of geeky. He was uncomfortable with himself. He just wasn't comfortable in his own skin. He didn't know really how to interact with people or anything like that. But yeah, we became friends. We started walking back and forth to school together. And over time, I actually started to get a little bit jealous of Steven. And I had started to have a little bit of envy. You see, he started to grow into his own. He started to become this really good-looking guy, sophomore, junior, senior year. He became one of the star players on the football team. And not only that, he was just a kind, compassionate person. He always had, like, the most beautiful girl in the school that he was dating. And, eventually he became the valedictorian of our class. And, he was the prom king. Like, that was the type of guy that Steven turned into. Definitely not the same dude when I met him. So anyways, we were getting ready for our graduation, and Steven was the valedictorian, so he was going to be giving the valedictorian speech. And we were, he was going to be going off. He was actually going off to school at Yale, and he was going to play football there. And I think he was going to, it was like biochemistry or something that he was going to study. And so the graduation day came upon us, and I was sitting behind Steven, and it was, the graduation was going, and I knew he was going to have to give a speech, so I saw that he was nervous, so I put my hand on his shoulder, and all I said to him was, "You're going to do great. You're going to be able to do this." And that same look that he gave me freshman year at his locker when I picked up his book, it was just this thank you. Like, I could see it in his eyes. There was a sadness and a gratitude, like, all at the same time. So anyway, Steven gets up there and he starts doing his valedictorian graduation speech, right? And he's doing this speech, and he starts on about how during this time in our lives, what we really can focus in on is the gratitude that we have. And he said, it starts at home, and just being grateful for our parents, grateful for being able to be in this world, and grateful for our brothers and sisters. And even if we are, like, we didn't have the best home life, we can still find gratitude. And then he said, and also during this time, we can have gratitude for our teachers. And he told a couple little side stories about some of the stuff that his teachers had done for him. And then he started to well up a little bit. And he said, but the most important thing is really just the friendships that we formed during our high school years. And these are friendships that we'll never forget. These are things that we can take with us for the rest of our lives. And he said, friends, I want to tell you something, and I don't want you to ever forget it. When you leave here and you go out there in the world, never forget that reaching out and helping somebody, even if you don't necessarily want to, is something that you want to do for the rest of your life. And he said, when I first moved here freshman year, I moved from a school and I didn't get along in that school, and I got picked on a lot, and I was really sad and I was really depressed, and I moved here, and the same thing happened to me on my first day. I was walking down the hall, and a bunch of the seniors came by, and they knocked my books out of my hand, and I knew it was going to be the same thing. And he said I had I was just at my wit's end, and I had been picked on my whole entire life. So at the end of my first day of school, I was clearing out my entire locker. I was clearing out my locker and taking all of my books out of my locker, and I was scared and I was shaky, and I wasn't really present. And he said, the reason that I was clearing the books out of my locker is because I was going to go home that day and I was going to kill myself. And I didn't want I knew my parents were going to have a lot to deal with, and I didn't want them to have to deal with another thing. I didn't want them to have to go to the school and clear the books out of my locker. And he said, but when I was clearing the books out and they all fell on the ground, a friend came over, and all he did was take a book, pick it up, and hand it to me. All he did was go out of his way to care about me. And that's the reason that I'm here today. That's the reason that I've been able to live the life that I live. That's the reason that I've been able to enjoy everything that's going on in my life. And he ends his valedictorian speech there, and I'm in the car with the kids, right? So now this is Keith talking. I'm not that story again. So I'm in the car with my kids, and I'm literally like tears coming down my eyes, and I was like, holy cow, that's it. Because you're going to get all the training in the world. Here's the deal, though. One of the hard things is we're afraid to talk to people about our life-changing, life-saving opportunity, both in health and fitness and financially. And what happens is we walk by Stevens every single day because we're too afraid of what our little ego's saying, like, are they going to make fun of me? Is somebody going to say no? Whatever it is, right? And I want you to hear this. The easiest way to start thinking about this business, the easiest way to start sharing our products, the easiest way to start sharing the business opportunity is to start thinking about the way that you felt when you did one of our programs 100%. Because that's what we're selling. We're not selling this huge weight loss. We're not selling T25 and P90X and Chalene Extreme. We're not selling Shakeology. What you're selling and what we have to offer is the ability to help someone's endorphins go up, the ability to help somebody belong, the ability to help somebody that has tried diet after diet after diet and they've failed over and over and over again. That's what it is that we're selling. And when we focus on that, we literally, I'm telling you, there are lots and lots and lots, hundreds, probably even thousands of people that their life has been saved by this company. They are alive today because of this company. And when we focus on that, rather than our tiny little fear or our laziness, and I'll tell you what, if you're getting distracted on Facebook and you're not doing your invites and you're not doing your follow-ups, that's what it is. It's lazy. If we're getting distracted by that and not going out and doing the work, we're not doing right in this world. We're not doing right by this business because so many of us are playing small in this business. So, how do you do that? Like, how does it look on a daily basis? I'm gonna blast through this, guys. I'm a storyteller. Like, I could tell stories all day long. How do you build a business that's built to last? A lot of you guys are going to be disappointed in this. You really are. You know it already. I'm gonna simplify it for you, but you know it already. The first thing is you need to stay in phase one. What is phase one? Phase one is doing your daily activities, doing your daily disciplines. And here's what I believe they are for a new coach. The first thing is you have to be working out and you have to be on a fitness journey yourself. That should be automatic. It should be something that you don't really have to think about. The second thing, and this part's work for a lot of us, is you have to be eating clean. For those of you that are, hitting booze every night, I'm not saying that you need to quit. But if you're really looking to build this business and you're drinking 2, 3, 4, 5 glasses of wine multiple nights a week, it might be time to let it go. Like, that's daily disciplines to me. Doing your power hour is a daily discipline. Right? And what do we mean by power hour? You can get this done in an hour if you're insanely focused. On Friday, I'm actually having a guest speaker for my day on Friday. So on Friday, Haley Christian's going to talk about, she has this thing called her Gangsta Rap Power Hour. It's awesome. But you can get a lot done in an hour if you're focused and if you're not getting distracted by Facebook. So doing your power hour. Here's a big one. Personal development is part of our daily discipline. And here's what I think personal development is in this business. Here's what a lot of people do. They get book after book after book after book, and they're reading and they're reading and they're reading and they're reading. And I call BS on that. I call that a cop-out. I call it, here's what personal development is to me. Personal development is finding out where you need to grow, getting the tool that's going to help you grow, and then doing it. I would rather you read one book, Go for No, or whatever book it is, but become what's in that book. But here's what a lot of people do. They go from book to book to book to book, and opportunity and this and that, and they jump on training and all these different trainings, and you're looking for the thing that's going to make, like the magic thing that's going to change your business. That's not personal development. That's window shopping and being lazy from really, really digging into what you need to do and who you need to become to be successful in this business. Because your success is going to depend on two things in this business. It's going to depend on how evolved, how bright, shiny, beautiful, happy from the inside out you are, and then how good you are at sharing that with the world. That's what success in this business is. That's how you're going to find success. A lot of people think that if you find these, if I can just learn this keyword thing, if I can just learn Instagram like Amy, if I can just learn, podcasting like Keith, like all that stuff, that's a 10% of it. The 90% is who you are becoming as a person. So personal development is all about that. Other part of, for me, and again so I'm here, I'm the guy that's going to paint the big picture for all of us presenting. At some point, you have to move from just focusing on customers to focusing on sponsoring new coaches, new active working coaches. If you want to, like, the actual activity that's going to make all the difference in the world for you building a big, thriving business, you building a business that is secure and stable, it's all about bringing in other working coaches. Here's the number one question. How do we bring in other working coaches, Keith, right? I've had this conversation with hundreds and hundreds of coaches, and it's the exact same thing. Here's what I want you to do right now. Make it your intention. Write that word down, underline it, highlight it, super, super important. Make it your intention that your focus is now going to be on ultimately bringing in working coaches. This doesn't mean you're going to stop challenge groups. It doesn't mean you're going to stop with customers. There's so many different ways you can get to the point that you have working coaches on your team, but make it your intention to do it. Here's what's going to happen. Once it's your intention, it is going to take about 6 months before you have a team of working coaches. You don't need to know the hows and all that. That's going to come over the next 6 months. You're going to start posting different. You're going to start talking different. You're going to start thinking different. Just simply focus on putting your main intention out there to start bringing in coaches that do the business. So that's my phase one piece. And it's simple. Like, people want to know the secret to it, and all the presenters after me are going to give you a lot better information on inviting and following, like all of that stuff. But here's the real deal. It's talking to a lot of people. Like, that's it. Once you have something going on, a lot of top coaches that I talk to, they say, like, they're all over the place, and I agree. Most of us are all over the place. Like, I'm all over the place. And I say that the next piece I'm going to say for, like, in the beginning is having structure and planning things out. And I know the coaches that I'm doing this, like, that are leading this call, I know that most of us, if not all of us, are a disaster when it comes to organization and planning and all of that stuff. But we're also very, very disciplined with the things that matter. If we're big on Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook, we're going to be very strategically posting certain things every single week, every single month, every single year. So that stuff is very strategic. That stuff, we know what our clientele is, we know who we want to talk to, we know who we are, and we know who we want to present it. We're also very strategic with following up with people, and very strategic with getting people started right, very strategic with building our business, very strategic with hitting our goals. So at some point, you have to actually do that. You have to be strategic, you have to have structure, and you have to have planning. And you don't have to have this crazy, like, boxes that everything fits in, but you have to know what matters, and you have to be disciplined on doing the things that matter. Getting on the National Wake Up Call, doing these trainings, doing your Power Hour, finding out the areas in life that you need to improve on and improving on them. I told you guys, like, everybody thought, like, everybody wants this massive, like, secret. This is the secret. The secret is that it's not so secret. The secret is that it's hard work. The secret is that it's about who you're becoming. And then once you learn everything that I'm talking about, once you get your little system, duplicate it with your team. And if you're just starting out in the business, if you don't even have a coach yet, don't worry about duplicating yet. I didn't move out of the egg nest until I was a 5-star diamond coach. I didn't start my own team until I was a 5-star diamond coach. Why would I? Like, I utilized all that. I focused on bringing in other coaches, and I focused on getting them into that system. The next thing is utilizing campaigns, 30 to 90-day campaigns. So people don't understand the power of Team Cup, don't understand the power of a group like this. So again, once you start building a team, start utilizing, you should be thinking about your business in 30-day increments, at the very most 90-day increments. Like, this group is a 6-week group. the only thing that I'm focused on right now is this group. All of my people are in here. This is what I'm focused on. This is what I'm driving. This is what I built up to. And like all of us, this is what we're focused on. But then when it's over, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next group? Make sense? And then another big piece to it is team unity and synergy. And if you look at, you're going to watch all of the presenters, each of us have a different vibe, a different feel, a different way that we focus on things. And when I think about team unity and synergy, it's kind of harder when you get the bigger and bigger your team gets. But for everybody in here, like when you have a smaller team, if your team, basically you have a team that you're able to recognize people, you're able to like do all of that stuff. Everybody should get started the same way. Everybody should be like, when you have a 30-day thing that you're doing, and there's so many different things. I'll rip some out right now, like Team Cup, Emerald to Diamond. We used to do this thing called Diamond Factory. We do this thing called Refer 3, Get Yours Free. Doing the Dash to Diamond. Like, it's all these different little small promotions. Beachbody does the big promotions, and within our teams we do the small promotions. This is one of the small promotions within the team. But the synergy piece and the team unity piece is everyone knows the team motto, everyone knows the team logo, everyone knows that this is what the team is focusing on right now. So this is all we're going to focus on. We're not going to focus on a million different things. Or maybe when a new program's coming out, your team, like all of the members of the team and then all of your customers, you focus on that one program. So everybody's marching to the beat of the same drum. Make sense, guys? So check this out. This is a 25-minute video. This is 2 long videos in a row. I'm actually going to skip tomorrow because I want everybody to get caught up on both of these videos, yesterday's video and today's video. And then on Thursday, we'll pick it back up. So take the stuff that you're learning, start implementing it, but most important, get out there and take action in your business. Take action today. Go out there. Go for those 5 no's. All right, guys, have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thanks. Peace.